May 3rd, the big announcement out of the Federal Reserve. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now in this video, I do want to discuss May 3rd and the important announcement we will be getting out of the Federal Reserve, as this is a very highly anticipated announcement, and I do want to discuss the details as this will impact all of us in some way, shape, or form. Therefore, we probably want to pay attention to it as we can anticipate what they're going to say based on some most recent economic data. So let's get into it and talk through all the details. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so, and because I am your one and only daily advocate. Not only that, because we are rapidly approaching 500,000 subscribers right here on the channel, and it would truly mean so much to me if you hit that subscribe button down below. Please also remember, I'm here for you every single day, no matter what, as that is my dedication, my commitment, and my promise to you and everybody right here in the community. As things are changing rapidly, it's a very busy, confusing, and uncertain time that we're currently living through, which is why I'm doing all the research and bringing it to you in these short videos each and every day. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and let's get into it and talk about the Federal Reserve, the big announcement on May 3rd, what this means for all of us, and what can we anticipate from what they're going to say. All right, so here's what it comes down to. Each 6 weeks that goes by, the Federal Reserve meets and they call it their FOMC meeting. Well, this is going to be happening on the 2nd of May and wrapping up on the 3rd of May. Then the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, will be coming out in the regular press conference answering questions from reporters, and again, we'll also be getting the announcement out of the Federal Reserve on that day as well, the 3rd, which will be what they're going to be doing with interest rates going forward. Now, here's the thing. For the last year or so, actually a little bit more than a year now, they've been aggressively raising interest rates every single meeting for the last over a year now. Well, here's the thing. We got to continue watching them, because remember this much. Do we think all of this interest rate increases have impacted us in some way? Yep, I'm not sure about you, but any of us that have any kind of debt, like a credit card or adjustable interest rates on virtually any type of debt product, it is impacting us in a pretty big way, right? Not only that, if you have opened up any new types of debt products over the last year or so, you've probably been impacted by this in a pretty big way. For example, mortgages. I recognize not everybody has a mortgage, but I'm just using this as an example. A little over a year ago, mortgages on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage were sub 3%. Now we're sitting over 6%. So they've literally more than doubled just in a year's time. Well, a little bit more than a year's time. Credit card increases, or credit card interest rates. The beginning of 2022, we're a little bit over 16% on average. We're rapidly approaching 20% now as the average interest rate on a credit card. The list goes on and on and on. Auto loans, personal loans, home equity lines of credit. I mean, literally, the list goes on. For anything that we are borrowing money for, it continues to get more and more expensive because the Federal Reserve continues to raise interest rates, which ultimately costs us more money when we go to borrow money from other people. They're now commanding more interest on that, a higher percentage interest rate, right? So that's why this is very important. Now, here's the thing. We've known this for a while now, and the Federal Reserve has made it very, very clear. They've reiterated this point many, many times, which continues to say we will continue to raise interest rates throughout the course of 2023, or at least until they continue to see this inflation coming back down. Now, here's the thing. In just a matter of days here as well, we will be getting the next inflation report as well, and that's going to tell us what's going on with inflation as of April. Now, again, we'll have to see here what's going on, but let me ask you really, really quickly here. Have you seen prices come down in your local area, or have you seen prices continue to rise or at least stay elevated? Well, I continue to see prices either stay high or continue to rise on some select items, right? So prices, from based on what we're seeing here, are probably not really coming down. Well, as a result of that, and as a result of these different employment reports that we've been seeing coming out as of recently, we can continue to see that, yep, the job market, according to what they're telling us anyway, is still very strong. Wages are still very strong. Price increases, still very strong. The economy, still very strong, according to the economic data that they're telling us. Well, as a result of that, this is probably going to prompt the Federal Reserve to more aggressively raise interest rates. So it's already anticipated that they're going to raise interest rates probably 50 basis points. That is the consensus out there. Now, again, there are some people out there suggesting that, no, they'll probably do 25 basis points, which, by the way, when I say 25 basis points, I mean a quarter of 1%, 0.25%. 50 basis points is a half a percentage point, or 0.5%. So that's what I mean when I say basis points. But there are some people out there suggesting the Federal Reserve, without a doubt, should raise interest rates by 75 basis points this time. Now, they did that 4 times back to back through the mid portion of last year. And again, that was historic. They hadn't done that in a very, very long time. So this time, the consensus is across the board, but a lot of people are suggesting it's probably going to be 50 basis points this one time. So anyway, we'll have to see what happens here. But remember, every time that the Federal Reserve comes out and raises interest rates, any balance that we're carrying on a credit card. Now, the reason that I say credit cards is because, let's just be real, most of us have credit cards. For me personally, I have multiple credit cards that I use all the time. So with those, not a huge fan. Every time I look at the statement and says, oh, your interest rate has gone up more, right? Not a fan. I don't like that. I don't like paying interest. It's just a total waste of money in my opinion. I don't like it, because what do you get for that interest you're paying? Nothing. You don't even get a receipt. You don't even get a thank you from the bank. They don't even say, hey, thanks for all the interest you paid us this year. We're going to go buy ourselves a new car. You know what I mean? They're not doing anything like that. We literally get nothing in exchange for it. So I don't like paying interest. Not a fan whatsoever. So anyway, that's why you got to continue watching this, because as soon as they come out and say, oh yeah, we're going to raise interest rates again, guess what? That impacts the interest rates on all of these debt products that we are using to finance our lives right now, because prices are so incredibly high, incomes are not keeping up with real inflation, and the vast majority of Americans are struggling financially right now in a pretty big way. However, there's one silver lining. It's not much, but there is one silver lining, which is if you happen to be somebody, there's not many of you out there, so if you are, you're kind of like the unicorn in the group, because there's very few of these people out there. But if you happen to be one of the lucky people out there that is actually saving money right now, like you're putting money into a savings account, the interest rates on savings accounts will also likely go higher. So as a result of that, if you're saving money, you're probably going to get rewarded a little bit more, because, well, being a unicorn, you have, pretty cool stuff going on, right? So my point is, that is the only one silver lining about the Federal Reserve raising interest rates, is that generally interest rates on savings accounts and CDs, which, by the way, if you're in the market for buying CDs, not the cool things that you put into your little, CD player in your car. What I'm talking about is certificates of deposit. If you happen to be buying any of those, interest rates on all of these items will likely be going up as well. So they're not very much, like 4% or so is what they're usually sitting at about right now, but those will likely be going higher in the event of the Federal Reserve raising interest rates yet again as well. So one little silver lining, but like I said, very few people are saving any money right now. There's very few people out there with any money in savings. So if you're one of them, congratulations, that's awesome. I hope you have the money sitting somewhere that you can at least get some interest on that. But if not, that's totally up to you as well. I don't want to sit here and tell you what to do. That's not my business. But either way, hope you're at least getting rewarded for that if you are one of the lucky ones that have a couple dollars set aside. But most people don't, so probably doesn't really apply to many people at all. Anyway, that is one of the silver linings. Anyway, hope this one helps you out. But again, I will continue watching for that announcement on the day. They start their meeting on the 2nd, which is Tuesday, and they wrap it up on Wednesday, the 3rd, and then we'll be getting that announcement right away as far as what they're going to be doing with interest rates going forward, as well as the press conference with the chairman of the Federal Reserve shortly thereafter. And again, remember this much as well. This will cause a lot of volatility in the stock market. No surprise there. Regardless of what they say, it always causes volatility in the stock market. So, of course, I'll continue watching that one closely as well, as I always like watching stocks and the market and everything like that. But beware, if you happen to be involved in the market and possibly, actively doing whatever you're doing in the market, trading or whatever, just be aware there will be some volatility. So that shouldn't be a shock at all. It happens every single time they come out with their announcements, but just to let you know, it probably will whipsaw a little bit. And, stocks up and down, left and right. Well, mostly just going right. But anyway, hope this one helps you. Again, please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, have a good one, and catch you again later in the next video.